Right at this moment, millions of Americans are facing an invisible battle that decides their future. It's not just about numbers on a screen, but the force that moves your hands when opening your wallet. There is a thin line between the wisdom of those who save and the pathology of those who refuse to live. It is the dangerous border separating the resilient strategist from the prisoner of their own scarcity. Imagine the journey of Sarah and John, two neighbors who share the same street and the same salary. Despite the similarities, their psychological realities are opposite worlds that silently collide. The difference between them isn't in the bank statement, but in how they perceive every single dollar. This perception shapes who prospers with ease and who merely survives in constant agony. Sarah is the personification of smart saving, someone who plans for the future without fearing the now. She understands that money is a tool for freedom and a resource to serve her higher purposes. She researches, takes advantage of sales, and organizes her budget with almost strategic care. Her life is based on conscious choices aimed at growth and long-lasting security. John, on the other hand, lives under the shadow of stinginess, where every expense is an open wound. To him, money is not a means, but a heavy burden that he fears losing every passing second. His life has turned into a series of bitter deprivations and regrets that consume him daily. He believes he is protecting himself, but he is only building a glass dome of isolation and pain. Healthy saving is about making smart choices and maximizing the value of every cent spent. It is about stretching the budget without having to suffocate your own soul or give up basic dignity. It's about finding the real value of things, rather than obsessively chasing the lowest possible price. It is the art of living well today while ensuring that tomorrow is even more prosperous and secure. Stinginess is born from an infertile soil of fear and a paralyzing aversion to the flow of life. The fear of scarcity becomes a parasite that drains the joy from any achievement or moment. Every decision John makes is based on lack, preventing him from seeing the abundance around him. He does not own the money he accumulated. In fact, the money has become his cruel master. Sarah invests in her education with enthusiasm, buying books and courses that expand her mind. She sees every dollar spent on herself as a necessary springboard to reach new heights. To her, knowledge is the most valuable asset that no one can take away, a risk-free investment. She understands that to earn more, one must first become someone capable of managing more. John refuses to pay for any extra material, believing that learning is a useless expense. He settles for the minimum, stagnating in his comfort zone while the market evolves rapidly. His refusal to invest in himself creates a glass ceiling that prevents his professional advancement. While Sarah climbs a ladder, John stays in the same place, clutching his copper coins. When a friend invites Sarah to dinner, she checks her budget calmly and accepts the invitation. She values the experience, the human connection, and the networking that happens around a table. She knows that happy moments are the fuel for a more productive work routine. The expense is planned and generates an emotional return that money alone cannot buy. John rejects every social invitation, making up lame excuses just to avoid spending a dime. He hates the idea of paying for a meal, preferring the isolation of his own empty kitchen. Over time, friends stop calling, and the silence becomes the real price of his foolish savings. He saved $20 but lost the opportunity to strengthen bonds that are worth millions. Sarah understands that life is made of precious moments and that some expenses are essential. She invests in her happiness in a balanced way, keeping her mind sane and her spirit high. She knows that money serves life and not the other way around, keeping a light relationship with finance. This allows her to be generous with herself and others without feeling any weight of guilt. John sees any and every expense as a drain on his wealth, a threat to his total mountain of cash. He forgets that true wealth is not just what you keep, but what you actually live and share. His obsession with accumulation prevents him from enjoying the small victories life offers. He lives like a poor man only to die as a rich man who never knew what it was to truly live. Stinginess is the reflection of deep insecurity and the need for absolute, rigid control. It is a desperate attempt to protect oneself from an uncertain world through excessive retention. But this control is an illusion that charges a high price on mental health and quality of life. Where Sarah sees opportunities for exchange, John sees only imminent dangers of financial loss. This extreme aversion to spending can lead to terrible decisions that cost dearly in the long run. John ignores a small leak in his house just to avoid seeing his bank account balance drop. What would have cost $100 today turns into a $10,000 disaster in months. Stinginess blinds the individual, preventing them from seeing that maintenance is cheaper than ruin. Sarah maintains her emergency fund and sleeps peacefully, knowing she is prepared for the unexpected. She does not fear crises because she built a solid foundation through intelligent saving. Her security does not come from attachment, but from confidence in her planning and her ability. She uses money as a shield, ensuring that unforeseen events do not shake her entire structure. John has money saved, but lives in a state of constant panic with every market fluctuation. Every small, unexpected expense destabilizes him emotionally, generating fights and stress. He does not see the purpose of the expense, only the numerical decrease that hurts his ego. His life is a cycle of anxiety where money, instead of freeing him, ends up enslaving him.
Have you ever stopped to think that the videos you just watched with flawless scripts and engaging narrations might have been created by someone who never even touched a camera or a microphone? There is a new digital elite profiting heavily behind the scenes of YouTube and social media, building massive channels without ever showing their faces or spending thousands of dollars on equipment. While most people are frozen by the fear of being on camera, these individuals are using the hidden power of artificial intelligence to generate automated content that works and earns for them 24 hours a day. The secret to dominating this game isn't about having a famous face. It's about knowing how to command the right tools to create scripts, voices, and visuals that magnetically hold the audience's attention. I've gained access to a strategic method that reveals the exact roadmap for you to build your own invisible digital empire. Mastering AI to turn clicks into a real source of income. It is the perfect opportunity for those seeking financial and geographical freedom without having to deal with the pressure of being a public figure on the internet. Best of all, you can seize this opportunity right now for a symbolic price. The complete training is under an exclusive promotion, dropping from $97 to just $17. This is your passport to unlocking the knowledge you need to start your professional journey with AI today. Click the first link in the description to secure your spot while this discount is still active.
True economy is about finding the perfect balance between today's needs and tomorrow's goals. It is about maximizing your purchasing power without having to sacrifice your dreams or health. It is having the discipline to save for the future, but the wisdom to celebrate present achievements. It is understanding that prosperity is a state of mind, not just a high bank account balance. Stinginess creates invisible blocks that prevent the natural flow of success in your life. It drives away people, new ideas, and the partnerships that could multiply your net worth. A heart closed to spending is usually a heart closed to the greatest opportunities. The stingy person focuses so much on what is leaving that they lose the angle of what could enter. Imagine the joy of giving a gift to someone you love without feeling like you're losing a part of yourself. This is the freedom of those who master finance and understand the social and emotional role of money. Generosity is a powerful asset that opens doors and builds a solid reputation in the market. Sarah is admired and welcome everywhere because her energy is one of exchange and abundance. John is viewed with hesitation as someone everyone avoids because of his rigid and selfish posture. His presence brings a climate of scarcity that drives away potential investors in men. He believes he is winning by not spending, but he is losing the game of social life and business. Money sitting still in the hands of a stingy man is like a seed that never touches fertile soil. The economic decisions we make today shape the character of the family's next generations. A home where people save with intelligence teaches children the value of effort and preparation. A home dominated by stinginess creates traumas of deprivation that can last an entire lifetime. Sarah teaches her children to be managers, while John teaches his to be prisoners. A country that saves, invests, and grows generates jobs and innovations for the whole society. A healthy economy depends on the circulation of goods and mutual trust between citizens. But a collective mindset of stinginess leads to the stagnation and decline of any nation. Capital needs movement to create value, just as blood needs to circulate through the body. Since the Great Depression, Americans have learned that saving is a matter of survival. But crises have also shown that paralyzing fear prevents recovery and true progress. It takes courage to invest and wisdom to know where to place every available dollar. Sarah learned the lessons of history, while John remained trapped in the traumas of the past. Money is not the enemy. It is the way we project our fears and desires onto it. If you treat it with respect and intelligence, it will be your best and most loyal employee. If you treat it with fear and worship, it will become your most demanding and cruel boss. The choice of how you relate to your finances is what defines your true freedom. Being economical is an act of empowerment that puts you in command of your own destiny. You make conscious decisions that serve both your long-term and short-term objectives. You are not driven by impulse, but you are also not locked by unfounded dread of loss. This posture attracts prosperity because you show you are ready to handle success. Being stingy is a sad submission to a negative emotion that limits your worldview. You lose the perspective of what really matters, focusing only on the retention of capital. Life passes before your eyes while you count coins in a dark and lonely room. It is a small existence for someone who was born with the potential to achieve great things. Think about your investments and how you face the risk necessary for real growth. The economical person studies the market, diversifies, and accepts that movement is part of the game. She seeks technical knowledge to minimize losses, but does not stop acting out of caution. Her portfolio reflects her mindset: organized, strategic, and in constant evolution. The stingy person loses the best chances by being excessively averse to any type of risk. Or, ironically, they fall for scams by wanting the maximum return without accepting the price. Their lack of vision leads them to dangerous paths where they believe they are saving a lot. In the end, they lose everything they tried to hold on to with such force and desperation. The real economy is about the multiplication of talents, resources, and values for everyone's benefit. Stinginess is the subtraction of the soul, a reduction of the human being to their most basic state. It is like denying water to a plant and expecting it to grow just by your own will. Without the necessary investment, nothing flourishes, nothing expands, and nothing hits its peak. Money is like a river that needs to follow its course to maintain life on its banks. Damming it up excessively causes stagnation and the death of the ecosystem it should feed. The healthy flow nourishes the land, generates energy, and allows trade and life to thrive. Be the bed of a clean river, not a forgotten dam filled with emotional debris. Financial freedom is not about the volume of gold, but about the peace that it provides. It is having the tranquility of knowing your needs are met and your dreams are protected. It is being able to say yes to what adds value and no to what drains your vital energy. Without the weight of guilt, financial life becomes a journey of discovery and achievement. Understanding this fundamental difference is the first step to changing your reality forever. It can be the watershed between a life of real abundance and one of mental deprivation. The balance in your account is just a reflection of the mindset you cultivate every day. If the mind is poor and stingy, no fortune in the world will be able to make you rich. The choice is in your hands with every coffee bought or every investment you make. Will you be like Sarah, who flourishes and inspires everyone around her with financial wisdom? Or will you be like John, who fades into the darkness of his own greed and constant fear? Your financial future is drawn by the small choices you make early this morning. Do not allow fear to dictate the rules of your game or stinginess to steal your smile. Learn to save with purpose, to invest with strategy, and to spend with real gratitude. Money is an excellent servant, but a terrible master for those who don't know its place. Master it with intelligence, and it will open paths you never imagined walking. Remember that time is the only resource you cannot save or keep in the bank. Every second spent in excessive worry is a second of life that will never come back. Use your money to buy time, comfort, and experiences that enrich your journey. This is the greatest lesson that economists can teach those seeking a truly full life. Change your frequency. Leave the vibration of lack and enter the harmony of active building. Be economical to have more, not just to spend less than others are spending. Prosperity attracts those who know how to care for what they have without becoming a slave to it. Open your hands to let the new in and to let what is old and useless go out freely. In the current American landscape, financial resilience is the greatest competitive advantage, and it is only achieved by those who balance care for capital with care for life. Do not let your story be written by fear, but by the courage to be someone prosperous. Financial success is a marathon, not a sprint, and it requires a sane mind to win. Sarah today reaps the fruits of a lifetime of decisions based on balance and peace. She travels, helps people, and continues to grow because her roots are deep and well. She does not fear the future, because she built it with bricks of wisdom and mortar of faith. Her bank account is just a tool that amplifies the generous person she already is. John continues to count pennies, complaining about the government and the fees he attracts. His life is a repetition of gray days, where the only joy is seeing a number go up. But that number has no life, no voice, and will not keep him company in lonely old age. He discovered too late that he saved everything except what really mattered. Living. The journey to freedom begins with the change of perception about what truly has value. Value is not price. Wealth is not balance. An economy is not deprivation of all joys. Learn to distinguish the essential from the superfluous and wisdom from destructive stinginess. Be the master of your capital and the architect of a life that is worth being remembered. With every investment decision, ask yourself if you are acting out of strategy or out of dread. If the movement comes from a clear mind, move forward. If it comes from a tight chest, stop. Financial intuition is tuned when we remove the noise of scarcity from our minds. The market rewards the patient and the rationale, but severely punishes the fearful. Cultivate Sarah's mindset and see how the doors begin to open almost magically. Opportunities that were once invisible will start to jump out at you with total clarity. You become a magnet for good business and good people who share the same vision. Smart saving is the foundation on which any great and lasting empire is built. Do not accept living a small life when you have the map to a grand existence. Break the chains of stinginess today and start breathing the air of abundance. Money is just a reflection of the value you generate and the way you manage it. Be a manager of excellence and wealth will be a natural consequence of your path. Look at your budget not as a list of prohibitions, but as a guide of personal power. Every line represents a choice that brings you closer to or further from the life you deserve. Choose freedom, choose growth, and above all, choose not to be a John. The world needs more people who know how to create value and circulate real prosperity. American history is made of pioneers who took risks, saved, and built the new. None of them reached the top by being stingy with their dreams or their own potential. They were economical where they needed to be and generous where life demanded action. Follow the example of the greats and transform your relationship with money starting now. Thank you for following this journey of reflection on the real price of our choices. Your opinion is vital to us. Do you identify more with Sarah or do you know a John? Comment below with your opinion, subscribe to the channel, and leave a like on this video. Your interaction helps us bring more content that transforms your vision of money.